Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today I will talk to you about scales. So scales is one of the pests that attack orchids. They're quite common, I think, and I will walk you through about what are scales, how can we identify them on your collection, and also how I personally treat scales. If you want to know a little bit more about pests and how to treat them, this is the video for you. Stay here with me and let's dive straight in. So, just before I start, if this is the type of content you would like to see, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. If you want to help a little bit more, there is a super thanks here down below. There is also some affiliate links down below from some of the products that I use. And that's all. But the most important thing is to stay here with me and subscribe to my channel. More than that, let's finally dive into the world of scales. So I will show you some examples while I talk about them. So what are scales? Scales are tiny insects that suck the sap from your orchid, weakening the plant over time. They're tricky because they don't move much when they attach themselves to the plant. They often look like small bumps. They can be whitish, yellowish, brownish, and they can be mistaken by small bumps or like parts of the orchid itself. Scales can be divided into two main types. We have the soft scales and we have the hard scales. So the hard scales, they will have a protective shell over them and making them a little bit harder to remove, while the soft one doesn't have the same type of shell that will cover it. But both of them can damage your plant. They will suck the sap. They can also transmit disease. So if they suck the sap from one plant that has some sort of virus or fungus, when they move to the other one, that can actually carry the disease. For this reason, they need to be treated. So now, how can we spot scales on our orchid? You need to actually look up close. Go to your orchid, look to the leaves. Usually mid-rib of the leaf, that's where you find most of the scales. The underside part of the leaf, but they can also be on the stem, they can be on the flower spike, even on the flower itself, or in the root system. They can easily hide in our potting mix. That's why some people like to actually report the orchid when they find scales. I usually don't do it, but we'll come to that in a second. Most of these scales can easily be found on the leaves. If you touch them, you're going to see that they are usually hard, but if they are not the hard type of scales, they can be like a jelly, some sort of jelly, and they will leave, the leaf is going to be sticky as well to the touch. I know that they seem harmless, but the important thing for you to know is that when they are sucking the sap and taking the nutrient out of your plant, they can damage. The growths can be stunted. They will not grow as healthier as previous growths. Also, you're going to cause serious damage to the leaf, will affect photosynthesis. So it's really important that we treat scales. So now, let's go to the treatment. How I treat my scales. To treat the scales, I use 70% ethanol or alcohol, rubbing alcohol. It usually doesn't damage the orchid. For sure, we need to be careful. We won't throw the alcohol, the ethanol to the plant, but if we use a cotton or some sort of paper or tissue that we can apply the alcohol, what it will do, it will remove the protective shell of the scale and then it will kill the insect easily. It's pretty easy. I just rub the alcohol and my job is done. Get a cotton swab. It's going to be easier for you to go to difficult regions of your plant, but that should be it. After that, you can just remove all the dead insects from the leaves. It's gonna be easy for your leaf to breathe. And how can we prevent another scale infestation or to have more scales in our collection? So it's really important that after you remove all the scales that you keep monitoring your plants. So every week you inspect your plant closely, especially the one that got affected by scales. See if you have any more scales. It's very easy for you to remove the scales and they will probably be back because they were hidden somewhere where we couldn't see when we spray the plant or we rub alcohol on the leaves and the stems, etc. so you need to keep a close eye on it. And if you notice more scales, just repeat the treatment. Everything should be fine. But some things that can help with these kind of infestations, to prevent this kind of infestation, is to have a good airflow around your collection, and also not having a super crowded collection where one plant is on top of the other one, so the insects wouldn't spread so easily. That's not my case. Like my plants, they are all crowded, but there is an option that if you don't have a big collection, just spread your plants around. I'm sure it's going to be easier for you not to have some insects just going from one plant to another. Another thing that it's very important is when we are looking after our orchid, from time to time, especially when the weather is hot, is to just shower, making sure that the environment is clean and that the leaves are clean as well. It helps to prevent insects, especially showering them. If you live in a hot place, that's amazing. But if you live in a place that's like my place, I cannot shower them all the time, otherwise I would have a ton of rot. But try to do it at least when the weather is hot. It helps to prevent some infestations as well. Another thing that's really important is healthier orchids. Usually they are more resistant to pests. So better you care for your orchids, you have greater chance that they will be able to fight the infestations on their own. Some of the times we have other type of pests that are a little bit more difficult to treat, but in the case of scales, I noticed that although it does attack some of my healthy orchids, but some of the healthiest ones, they are pretty resilient to scales. So keep in mind that the best treatment is to look well after your orchid, water when it needs watering, airflow, humidity, light, all the good things that plants adore, and they should do fine. And to conclude this video, that was everything that I want to tell you today about scales. I hope this video was helpful and will help you keep a clean and tight collection, and maybe use a simple method like ethanol 70%, rubbing alcohol can actually help you to eliminate this kind of pests and have a healthier collection of orchids. Without scales, I'm sure your orchid will have beautiful blooms and they will be able to keep growing and growing even more. And that's what I'm doing. I do have some scales in my collection, but because it's under control, they are not affecting the plant as much. But with some of the examples that I showed you, I have one cattleya that was severely affected and even have some weird spot on its leaves, and I think was caused by scales. I have a ton of other plants that have some signs that scales were munching on them, but I'm keeping everything under control using this simple method. So I hope it helped you. If it did, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment down below, let me know which type of content you'd like to see here. And if you'd like me to talk about other pests, I do have other videos about spider mites, thrips, but that's all. I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.